Randomly asked questions. Are sun conures ever quiet? The answer is yes, they are quiet. They haven't had breakfast yet, but in the morning I typically take them out of their cages after I've opened the windows and everything and brightened up their little bedroom. And they love to cuddle with me, and I love it. They never used to be like this. We had a consult with some parrot trainers, Jamie and Dave Womack, back in December of 2019. They let us know that we had a lot of hormonal triggers in place for our birds, which was something that we were just not educated on. We started by removing cage covers, and instead of covering the cages while we were in the room watching TV and things like that, we moved the cages into a room where the room could be completely closed up and more quiet for them, where we could cover up the windows, make it quiet for them so they have an actual quiet good night's sleep. Covering up a cage while you're watching TV next to it is not a good way to promote sleep for your birds. I mean, maybe you can fall asleep with the TV on and talking people around you, but I don't think you're getting quality sleep. That's just my opinion. Did I take away your hair bed? Sorry. I used to have a bad habit of letting my birds eat with me, and of course they want to eat everything out of your mouth, and like a disgusting person, I let my bird eat out of my mouth. Well, that actually simulates regurgitation. When you are feeding your bird warm food or body temperature food, that is something they do for one another when they are being hormonal, put it that way. And so you're basically telling your bird that you are being hormonal with them and you're triggering that behavior. Something that Mango used to do really regularly was regurgitate, or try to regurgitate, where they jerk their head around, and he'll do it like up against my ear, and he rarely does it, and it kind of seems like it comes out of nowhere. It's definitely something that would trigger nasty behavior from him, not towards me, but towards family if they were over, or my husband. I'm sitting here editing video, and it occurred to me as I said something that it's not true. Mango used to be very aggressive towards me, very randomly. That lashing out behavior was absolutely triggered by his hormones. He would bite me on the face or on the neck hard. It would be from something random, a very random event, but it could be something like I was moving plastic bags around and he didn't like the aggressive behavior or the way that I was whipping the bag or moving the bag or opening a bag. He's never liked the laundry basket. He's better now. At least if I'm holding it, I can set it down. But he would literally land on me and just viciously bite on my face or my neck. It's very startling. So that's kind of negative. Something that we want to avoid is if he starts doing that, I try to move my head away, or I end our little cuddle session and I'll put him on the perch in another room. And one of the worst things that we did was we had little cuddle huts in our birds' cages. They are little fuzzy beds that your bird will go inside of and lay down and get all fluffy like that. They'll get all fluffy and cuddle up by themselves. They might chew on it because they're trying to make a nest. Those beds are really unnecessary for your bird to sleep well. Birds, through their natural behavior and instinct, know how to sleep standing up. They can sleep on a stick or on a swing or anything that they have in their cage. It does not need to be one of those cuddle beds. You're helping make them territorial by creating that environment of a nest, anything that simulates a nest. This is just what I've been taught. It is not anything that I've personally researched, but through my experience, it has definitely made a huge difference in my relationship with my birds. Remove the cage covers, to remove the little cuddle huts, and to stop feeding them out of my mouth. Also, if you're feeding your birds chop or any type of food that you're making for them, be careful that it doesn't sit out too long before you do feed it to them, because that can also resemble regurgitated food if it's too warm. I usually feed our chop right out of the fridge. They love that. They actually dig right in. It's just kind of like they want their breakfast to be cold, and then they get their pellet in the evening. You having trouble climbing up the hill there? I think it might be helpful if I tell you exactly what the behavior was that they were exhibiting. A lot more screaming was going on when they were being hormonal. They would bite me more frequently. Little Peach here would chew on my neck, like in a very uncomfortable way. I know that they tend to be a little bit mouthy as birds, and especially as a baby bird, Peach was mouthy. However, I couldn't really do a lot of this or touching her because she would just clamp onto me. Not like she was trying to bite my skin off, but but it was definitely aggressive and it got really uncomfortable. I mean, nobody wants to sit there and be pinched over and over. When I removed those hormonal triggers, they stopped all of the little passive biting of my neck, of my ears, of my mouth. It was just like a constant thing where I felt like I couldn't even have Peach on my shoulder because it was just becoming really uncomfortable for me. And now look at her, cuddled up with her little foot up, except Mango's tail's in the way. This is her spot every day until I feed them breakfast. Mango always gets outside because Peach is pushy. I'm trying to think of what else changed. They did stop screaming as much. I would not typically have been able to sit here and speak as much, and they would just sit on my shoulder. They would scream and fly around the room, generally obnoxious. That is really frustrating when you're trying to have a conversation and you just want to be around your birds, you know? You want them to cuddle you and hang out with you and be kind of like a coexistent pet. And that's something that's kind of hard, I think, having sun conures. They are just screaming, loud little birds. So I definitely have appreciated the fact that we remove those hormonal triggers and we're able to build a better relationship together. Because y'all, I love cuddling my bird. Who doesn't? They're generally so much nicer. They step up better. Mango will actually step up to my hand and fly to it all the time now without question. This is something that I had a hard time with in the past. He would always avoid my hand or just look at me like I was nuts and wait for me to turn around. Station. Station. Good girl, Peachy. Come on, Mango. Station. Not gonna do it. He's like, you don't have a treat? What are you doing? And actually, if anyone was curious about our station training update, they have been amazing. I'm getting little treats here so I can show you. Ready? Station. Good. They'll hang out there for a few minutes. I haven't really prolonged it, but they understand that when I ask station, they need to fly to their station. So it's time for me to get breakfast ready. We can do that real quickly together. Today I'm doing some hard-boiled egg and our summer chop from the Bird Tricks cookbook that I will put in the link below for you. I usually grind up the hard-boiled egg so that it mixes in really well with their chop. And Peach loves to eat all of it. The sun conures and Sam get a little over 20 grams of the chop mix. And they don't eat all of that in one sitting, but they will snack on it over a couple of hours. And then about mid-afternoon, after about 4 hours, I take the bowls away so that I can wash them for the evening. And then of course, clean water. Cookie is a bit of a larger macaw, so she gets about 75 to 80 grams. I made a little bit extra, but if she gets full, she won't eat it. My understanding from the Bird Tricks cookbooks is that they are allowed to have as much vegetables as they can eat. And I don't typically put a ton of grains or legumes in my chop. I'm pretty able to balance their diet through just letting them free feed on the vegetables in the morning. Did you not see it? It's okay. Yeah, it's okay. Can you walk by there? scared the heck out of Cookie walking by. It was funny. It's okay though. I hope that was kind of helpful information for you about sun conures not screaming and options to keep them from screaming and hormonal issues and stuff like that. If you're interested, we actually did a consult with Bird Tricks back in December. I'll link both of those down below. We had issues with Cookie stepping up onto our hands specifically, and then the sun conures, we covered our hormonal issues and their Velcro bird issues and getting them to stations. If you want to watch those, just click the links down below and that'll take you to the Bird Tricks channel. And we appreciate you watching as always. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. And we look forward to seeing you next week. It's going to be a brief video next week also because I will be out of town. So I still have to think of what I'm doing. Thanks for watching, you guys. See you next time.